What's up, guys? Out here in the shop doing a little work. Thought I'd bring you along and do a review of this Harbor Freight 61613 item. It's their chainsaw chain sharpener, and it's actually a pretty good unit. It's got a couple drawbacks here. I'm just piddling, trying to get this set up. I'll show y'all. It's really simple to use. Well, I say that now I'm struggling with this adjustment knob, but there we go. It's actually very simple to use, and it works pretty well. I mean, it's not, there's probably better items out there in terms of quality, but bang for the buck, I think he'd be hard to beat, okay? So anyway, let me show you. You've got several adjustments. You've got an adjustment here that adjusts how deep you can go into the blade. You've got adjustment here that sets how far, when this is just an angle grinder in a housing is all it is. This sets the angle, no, it sets the depth, how much you're taking off the tooth. So obviously if you don't want to be buying new chains all the time, you don't want to take a ton off your tooth. You just want to take a little bit off every time you sharpen. And then you've got that, and that's basically it. You've got a brake up here, kind of like a bicycle brake. You can see it collapse in here. It just grabs the chain. And I use it, but what I kind of do is I set my chain so you can use these knobs to rotate the chain through. But I tend to just kind of grab the chain and then pull back on it here, set your brake, and then just come at it. Kind of like that. And one thing I've noticed is when you switch, so you can set your blade angle, the angle of the cutting tooth. You've got 0 to 35 degrees. Each chain is going to be different depending on what your chain is. My chain's a 30-degree chain. This is an Oregon chain. It's set at 30 degrees. My chain has indicator lines on each tooth that tells you the angle of the cut. But that's basically it. So what I do is I set it up, and I kind of get down in here just so I can see where it's hitting, and that's how I set the depth right here of the stop. I don't want it getting past the tooth and actually into the chain links. Then I set how much it's taken off the tooth here, and that's it. I'll show you how it works real quick. I always put a little tension on my chain here, lock the brake, and you're just wanting to take a little off each tooth. Obviously, you've got two different sides. So you'll do all the teeth that face one direction or angle. And then once you get those done, you can spin this table around and come back and do the other teeth. This thing works really well, and one thing I've found though is that it works so well if you've got multiple chains. It almost, for me, I'm almost borderline abusive to my chains. Like, now I don't care if I get into dirt, because I've got like 4 or 5 chains now. If I get into the dirt, I'll just grab a new chain. And this is real time on this chain, obviously. You can do a chain in probably a minute or two. And this thing, like, I was really skeptical. Guy at work was like, man, you got to get one. They're amazing. And I was like, yeah, it just seems kind of chintzy. I think I paid like $25 for it. But I absolutely love it. I'd buy another one. If this broke today, I'd go get another one. One thing that I've heard some people talk about, and I can see where it could be an issue, is this piece that holds the grinder. You can influence the angle. See, I don't know if you can hear, I'm off the tooth, I'm on the tooth. You can adjust the angle simply based on pressure that you put on the head here. So you obviously want to try your best to reduce that pressure. So you want to try and recreate the same every time, the same pressure that you put on here. But that was one side, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change. Usually it takes a little bit of adjustment when you swap from one side to the other. It's usually just a depth thing of the cut off the blade, off the tooth, I guess. So that's usually what I have to adjust. There we go. And you can take as little or as much off each tooth as you want. Obviously, it's your call. I just try to get a nice even cut on the entire tooth face. And you just keep watching, and you'll see when you get back around. You'll see when you get to the teeth that you haven't done yet, and then when you're done, you're done. And that's it. That's all the teeth. I'm done. So in real time, I sharpen that entire chain. Let's see if I can get in here. Yeah, it's not going to focus. I've got gloves on. Yeah, it's iPhone's doing its best. But you can kind of see the cut there. I mean, they're pretty sharp. So there it is. Chainsaw chain sharpener by Harbor Freight. If you don't have one, try it out for the amount of money. 20% off coupon. It'd be like 25 bucks. All right. Keep your chain sharp.